R-A-T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis. Today, we are interviewing probably one of the most talented people that we've ever had on the show. April Howton's going to be joining us to talk about her journey, and we're going to get to that awesome interview in just a few minutes after these important messages. This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you by the 79th Faulkner Bible Lectureship Sunday, October 22nd through Thursday, October 26th on the campus of Faulkner University in Montgomery, Alabama. This year's theme is Reconnect. The Jenkins Institute's Better series will be a part of the program in 2023, along with sessions geared towards youth and family ministry. There will be daily chapel programs and evening keynotes to encourage and equip you in your walk with Christ. The mission of Faulkner University is to glorify God through education of the whole person, emphasizing integrity of character in a caring Christian environment where every individual matters every day. For more information, go to faulkner.edu or click the link in the description of this episode. I'm Travis Creasy. That's All-Pro Counselor Ben Hayes with 3-Chord Counseling in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Ben, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. Another great weekend that we had of all kinds of activities going on. Got to enjoy a little cross country this weekend, as it wasn't volleyball, but it was cross country this time. So got to do that. Had a good day on Sunday. And so just living the dream. Will, how's it going with you?
Oh, man, living the dream. It's fall break, which means youth group kids want to stay up all night, do everything, wish school was still happening so I could go home and go to bed. But can't complain, doing well.
Well, we are excited, as Travis already said, to have with us today on our podcast, Miss April Howton. And April is a good friend of ours, has been a good friend of Ben and Travis and the podcast through many different ways. But we are thankful to have her on board. She is, as Travis said, one of the most talented people that you might meet and is owner or part owner of Studio 23 in Florence, Alabama. You need to check that out. If you haven't already, I'll give her that little plug. But April, it's great to have you on board with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And had I known there was going to be such a big space of this showing, I would have actually cleaned this a little bit better for y'all. But you're getting real life right now, so sorry about that.
That's just what it is. You're working. You're always got your hand in something, doing something. It seems like, of course, for those of you who know April, then you probably are aware that things have slowed down a little bit as far as the work is concerned over the last, maybe a lot over the last couple of weeks due to some things coming up. So I guess we'll just start with April. Tell us a little bit about what is going on with you right now.
Well, I think sometimes people will say life gives you lemons and you make lemonade. Well, right now we're just sitting in the lemons because unfortunately, but it's going to get better. August 3rd, I was actually diagnosed with breast cancer. Invasive ductal carcinoma is the medical term. I just call it breast cancer because that is what it is. It was definitely not on the radar. It was not something that I think any of us saw coming. So that's kind of where we're just kind of treading water right now. And that's okay, because I believe there's a season for everything. So that's kind of where we are.
Okay. So a lot of things, like I said, that kind of slows things down with work and everything else. You are super busy with that. You've also are a volleyball referee. You keep the book for volleyball, and you have 7 kids. So, I mean, there's, you don't have much going on, but certainly that has put a halt to some things, not to being a mom though. So very much still involved in those things. So April, just kind of walk us through a little bit about how that all sort of transpired, maybe some things even that you've learned in retrospect now that might help somebody else that's going through that.
Sure, absolutely. So number one, just so everyone knows, I deal with things with humor because that's just what I've grown up with. My father's a preacher of 50 plus years. our whole church, our whole family's been in the church for years, but I deal with things with humor because I don't know. Laughter the best medicine. I kind of think it's true. So if I say something, know that it's in good favor with good laughs with it. But honestly and truly, this all started because I had shingles. Now, I've had shingle issues since I was 18 years old and had stress issues when I went to college. I was not a college kid. I did not enjoy it. I loved the social of it, but I hated actually having to go to class. So I had my first bout of shingles. And at 43 years old, I had another bout of shingles. Dealt with it before, but I had one infected shingle that I could not get rid of. And I thought, good night. I am going to have to go to the doctor and get medicine. I loathe going to the doctor. I'm sure people love it. I hate it. I will do everything in my power to avoid it. But I knew I needed to. So I made the call. I'm like, I'm going to tell them what I need because I know what's happening. So sure enough, they get me in. She looks at it and goes, you definitely have an infected shingle. I'm like, I know I do. You're welcome. I knew it. So just give me the antibiotics. I'm good to go. And she's a nurse practitioner that's local. And she goes, hey, I'm looking at your chart. You haven't been here in 2 years. Let me go ahead and do your breast exam. And I was like, nope, I'm good. Thank you. Just need my medicine. I'm great. Gotta go. Kids, gotta get going. And she goes, April, let me do it. You're right here. And I'm like, fine. So, like you said, I've had 7 kids. I nursed all 7 of my children. I have what is affectionately known as, well, I did, I don't anymore, but I had fibrocystic breast is what they're called. So everything just feels like rocks, everything. So nothing feels different. That's just what it is. And so she's doing her exam, which I know men have exams also. I don't know if that happens in a man exam. Usually, probably not, but I actually know 3 men who've had breast cancer before. So yes. I know there's got to be some kind of exam that a man does. But so she does an exam and she gets to one side and goes, man, this is really hard right here. I'm like, okay, great talking. Let's get out of here. And she goes, let's just go get a mammogram. Let's just make sure. And I'm like, oh my stars, this is a waste of my time. So I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. I go get a mammogram. They send me in for the biopsy the next week. And they said, and this is exactly what happened. I go in for the biopsy and this sweet nurse, we'll call her Jackie. That's not her name, but we'll call her Jackie. And she was, April, call tomorrow at 3:00 and I will give you your results. I'm like, awesome. Good talk. Have a great day. I'm done with this. So I come home, I'm working in my shop. I have lasers. You can see some of them behind me.
Lasers.
And then lasers, they burn stuff. It's awesome. So I'm in my laser shop and actually have my great nephew, little Beckett, with me. And he's 18 months old and he's just a joy. And he's playing around in the shop and just running around everywhere. And I went, oh, it's 3:30. I need to make this call really quick. So I call and Jackie answers. I said, hey, it's April. I was wondering if I can just get my results. And she goes, just a minute. So put me on hold, came back. She goes, yeah, what's a great number to call you back at? And I went, I have breast cancer. Because nurses can't tell you that. The doctors have to call you. And she said, I will give you your results. I totally remember her words. So I was holding Beckett and I was by myself with just him. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to take a moment because that's not good. Don't jump, April, but just prepare yourself. So he called me, the doctor called back in about 20 minutes and confirmed it was breast cancer. And I was holding Beckett and he's just laughing and playing, not a care in the world. And I was determined not to make any shocking moves or anything or any shocking sounds because I didn't want to scare him. And that was the first blessing through all this. The second blessing. First blessing was shingles. Second blessing was because I had Beckett with me. And so I wasn't over the top. I wasn't, I really just had no reaction. When the doctor said, Miss Howton, it is cancer, I literally said, well, that sucks. That was it. And he goes, excuse me? I was like, you have a really bad job. And he said, it's not always bad. I was like, yeah, but that just sucks.
That part of it's bad. Yeah.
I made him feel really bad about his job. And he said, but do you have questions? I said, no. I mean, what am I going to ask? And he's like, I don't know. I just feel bad. I was like, well, you should, because that's a bad job to have. So I think I really made him feel bad. But anyway, that was where our journey began. So when you're told, and Travis, you can go with me on this, when you're told you have cancer, you just all of a sudden get all these information and all these words thrown at you so fast and so furious. And you're thrown from this appointment to this. It's a whirlwind. And so my first thing, once I was like, okay, this is what it is. I went right back to work because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? My husband was driving home from work. I was not about to call him and tell him that over the phone. So my kids were all, at school and everywhere, volleyball and tennis and everywhere. And I was like, I'll just wait. So my first thought was like, I've got to tell my family. And I knew that if I presented things okay, that they were going to be okay. Does that make sense? It's kind of like you have this is horrible. When we all have them, let's just speak that one Debbie Downer friend where you're going to tell them and they're going to bring everybody down no matter what. I just thought, let me present this in a way to let them know I already got this. Don't even worry about it. Like we got this. Let's not. So that's how I'm going to present it. So I tell my husband, and in true Jason Houghton form, he's so steady. He goes, all right, like nothing. And I went, okay, all right, that was good. Our oldest, he is in police academy in Huntsville, Alabama. And it's been hard. It is like a military academy over there. And it was his second week. I told my son, and he's a mom's boy. And like I said, academy's been really hard. He's almost finished 8 weeks. So we got this, but I said, you're going to get through this. I'm going to get through this and we're just going to kill it. And he was like, done. So we have this huge pack between us. Our second is 19 years old. She just bought her own house 2 months ago. She is a mini me. And I knew if I came to her, hey, this is fine. We're going to kick its tail. Let's get this over with. She was going to be okay. So I told her, she had her moment. We're good. But my favorite part is because we do have so many kids, our house is a revolving door. I don't know whose child is at my house at like any known time. And that most parents would not say that, but I just am, because I'm like, well, it is what it is. So I was going to tell the younger 5, and 2 of them had friends over. I'm like, I need to tell them because I got to start going to my doctor's appointments and this is going to get out there. I'm pretty a public person with my life. So I'm like, I'm not going to hide this journey. Maybe I can help somebody else. So I called the 5 down and I said, hey, Houghtons, y'all come down for just a minute. Well, here comes their friends. And I'm like, oh, y'all don't have to come down. They're like, no, it's good. I was like, no, really, y'all can go back up to your games. They're like, no, it's good. We love this family. I'm like, oh my stars. I'm laughing because I go, well, guys, mom's got breast cancer. And their friends are like, all right. Like just, so we're laughing because these kids who are not even ours are like, cool. Like just, and one goes, you can be bald. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how this These kids are asking so many questions. I'm like, you're not even mine. And my kids are laughing because their friends are like, dude, you're in here. My mom's telling you she's got cancer and you're asking the question. So it was like blessing number 3 because it broke the whole hysteria of my mom's got breast. We laughed so hard because I'm like, I told you didn't have to come to this family meeting, but these kids came anyway. So it's a big joke. Like you never know what's going to happen at the Houghton house. Who's going to come out with some big thing, and who's going to find out? So we told everyone. It got out there, and I thought, no, cancer's not a laughing matter, but at the same time, I think if you see the sunshine through the storm, that you can find humor in things like that. So I looked at it as a blessing that those kids were here. So it just brought us all laughter. And we still laugh about it to this day. We're like, remember when mom told kids that weren't even her, she had cancer in our family meeting? I'm like, yeah, I do. So, and then with my sisters, I have 2 sisters. My sisters we're very close, but the way I told them is I literally said, it's official. It was a text. I said, it's official. I'm going to have better boobs than y'all will. And both my sisters, I mean, you got to deal with how you have to deal with it. So they were like,
That's awesome.
oh, are you serious? But
sibling rivalry is real. So,
and still present. Because right now, one of them is like, well, since you don't have any, and this other sister still hasn't had any fixed, currently I have the best ones. And I'm like, okay, you can have that trophy for a little bit, whatever. So
I guess you should tell who your sisters are, because the people who listen to this podcast are scattered all around the country, and most of them know us because of CYC. So sister number 1 is
I was also told I was CYC royalty. Some kid told me that last CYC, and I was like, all right. I'm like, I really do the merchandise, but okay. So my two older sisters, my oldest sister is Cammie Jo McCain. She lives in Bentonville, Arkansas, but she helps with CYC in Dallas. So if you go to Dallas, you would see her. And then my other older, I have to put that in, older sister is JJ Davenport, which JJ and her husband Larry are two of the original creators of CYC period. So JJ, and she also is doing Transform Ladies Conference now. So we just finished our second year. Again, I'm in charge of the merch because that's what I do.
Well, I just hate that it took this situation to get you on the podcast. I've been wanting to have you on for a long time just to goof off, honestly, because
I can do that all day.
There's a reason why we call it Helping Healing and heavy on the humor. So, but thank you. And I will also agree with what you were saying. It's almost like I think about Scooby-Doo, when they get scared and their feet start moving, but they're not going anywhere. That's what it felt like to me. Like it was like, hurry up and wait to find out the news or whatever. And I also, Ben gives me a hard time because I told him via text that I have leukemia, but I didn't tell him that I would have better hair or anything like that. But I did inform him. But I always stand up and say I informed him via text because I knew better than to do that to my mom. So I did call her. So.
Well, actually, Ben, you should know that's love because we knew that you, as a good friend, could handle it. I knew my sisters could handle it that way because if I got on the phone with my sisters, they would lose their mind. So I'm like, this was the way I knew we could all handle it and we could adapt from there. So just take it as a love thing that you got that.
Yeah, okay. I think that if I would have gotten on and called Ben and told him, I probably would not have been okay. I think it was like, I'm not emotional with anybody else, but to inform Ben, I had to be like, okay, this has to be somewhat sterile. I can't, So.
We made it. We're okay. We're good. We're good.
Good. What has it been, 5 years for you, Travis?
It'll be 5 years tomorrow, Monday. So.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
The Ministering to Youth Conference, better known as M2Y, is taking place this year on November the 2nd through the 5th on the campus of Heritage Christian University in Florence, Alabama. This conference is designed for anyone who has a heart for today's youth. There are classes designed to help deepen your faith and knowledge of God's Word, as well as specific topics to help you better understand the culture our kids are having to navigate today. Ladies' classes and classes designed to help the leadership of the church as it pertains to the youth ministry are also available. Of course, there is also plenty of free time to enjoy each other's company and brainstorm about ministry. That alone is worth the trip. So whether you are a full-time or a part-time youth minister, elder, deacon, parent, or volunteer, there is something for you at M2Y on November the 2nd through the 5th, 2023 at Heritage Christian University. You can register now at m2yconference.com.
So you are still in the process. So you want to tell us, kind of inform us what your next steps are, what we could specifically pray for you in your circumstance.
Absolutely. So August 3rd is when I found out, I was told. And September 25th, so I'll be 3 weeks tomorrow, I had a bilateral double mastectomy. And that I've had 7 children naturally. Everyone's like, are they really all yours? They are all mine. Same baby daddy. I mean, we claim them all, but I've had them all naturally. I, did my best to give them good starts, but let me tell you, there is something about having your chest cut off that just puts you in the back seat. I thought, I have ran, as someone who runs, Ben knows I used to be a huge runner. I've ran 6 marathons. I've done an ultra. I can't even tell you how many half marathons I've done. And I've done some hard stuff. I've walked on fire before. I've skydived. I love adrenaline rush, junkie. And you get a mastectomy and it's like, nah, that marathon was so easy. Never mind. Like everything I thought I'd mentally prepared for, it put me in the back seat. So I did. So 3 weeks tomorrow. It'll be 3 weeks tomorrow since I've had a mastectomy. And again, when you have to make these choices, a lot of things are thrown at you. When we found the cancer, the whole thing was, okay, we can take it out, but you have 2 other tumors in this side. They're lighting up with the MRI, but we really think because of all the cyst and things you have, it'd be best to get this double mastectomy. And I was like, I don't want a chance of this. Just take them. I'm currently actually 4th generation breast cancer, but I do not have the mutation genes that all the other women have. Mine is literally was a rogue gene. I just like to be an overachiever, apparently. But I don't know what in the world. But my aunt, they were all what you call BRCA2. So it's these gene mutations that you look for, and it gives you a higher chance of having breast cancer. So my grandmother, her sisters, my aunt, they all had this gene. So I get tested, nada, nothing. It's just April's like, hey, let me have this rogue hormone. Mine is a hormone cancer. So, overachiever all the way. So when I'm talking to my surgeon, I'm like, I don't want this coming back. I'm going to deal with this now and I'm going to be done because I'm 43 and I probably got at least another 60 years to go. So let's just get this gone and be done. So he's like, absolutely. He goes, your margins are great. I'm not even worried about this. Let's take care of it. Well, women, you do have the option to have a reconstruction surgery at the time of your surgery. So what they do is your surgeon comes in, takes all the tissue out, and then comes in a plastic surgeon. And I'm just going to call you, it's called an extender. I call them Ziploc bags that are horrid because they're horrible. But a plastic surgeon comes in and puts these Ziploc bags inside of you. And these bags can then be filled, and it'll fill you back up, your chest back up to whatever size. You kind of get to try them on, which is kind of cool at the same time as to what size you want to be. I mean, it's kind of like try before you buy kind of thing, but it's kind of cool. But so you go in and they start these things called expanding, and you literally get to whatever size you want to be. And then they'll go back in with one more surgery. They'll take out expanders and put implants in. So you have all these things coming at you that are like, do this, be this, and you're just trying to make the best decision you can. But so for me, I thought, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. So, because I feel young and I still like to, be active and things like that. And I still would like breast. So I'm going to try this. So that is what the surgery I chose to do. Now with my margins being clean, what we thought we're going to do this, do this, do this. And then come December, I'm done. Cancer's behind me. Here we go. So I'm home one day and my surgeon calls and, how are you doing? I'm like, this is horrible. Let me just be honest. This is absolutely horrible, but we're going to make it. And he says, I'm so sorry, April. It is in your lymph nodes. And I was like, no, it's not. Literally. He goes, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. You like, don't do this. Like, you told me they were going to be clean. And I didn't quote him on it because I knew he didn't have to say, but so I do have it in my lymph nodes. So I told my husband, I'm literally going to keep playing the cancer card, which Travis, you should still be good to play yours, even though yours is gone. I think.
Don't worry, he does. Plenty.
I think you should always be able to play it if you ask me. But so I did have it in my lymph nodes, unfortunately. So now comes the thing of what to do to get rid of this cancer. So I went to an oncologist, which oncologist is chemo and hormones. And I didn't know all this. If you have to have radiation, you have to go to a radiation doctor. And I'm like, I just thought they all did the same thing. They don't, by the way, another thing learned. So I did have a meeting with my oncologist. Thankfully, my score was really low, so I do not have to have chemo, but unfortunately, I do have to have radiation. So I have it, which and I don't know the cartoon, but there's this mad scientist with crazy hair and a white lab coat, and he's always, I don't know, I wish I could remember the cartoon, but every time I see my radiation doctor, I think of that cartoon, and he opens his mouth and I think he should sound like this cartoon. He doesn't, but he's very, very dry humor. Amazing what he does. But I'm like, are you sure I need this radiation? And he's like, April, yes. I'm like, let's talk about this. Are you?
April making doctors feel bad one doctor at a time. Like, you're a liar. Your job stinks. I mean, everything about you.
I mean, but they love me, right? I bring them cookies. So technically, I'm one of their favorites. I know. I'm like, I'm going to tell them how bad a job you're doing, but I'm going to bring you some gingerhead bakery cookies. So I kind of make up for it. But so anyway, where we are is actually tomorrow. I have another appointment and they're going to start expanding. So we'll see how that goes. Once you're expanded, I'll go to radiation. I have 25 treatments, 5 weeks, 5 days a week. And then after that, next summer, if everything goes right, I'll be able to take my Ziploc bags out and actually get the implants in. And then Lord willing, say we are done with cancer and done, because ugh. It's very tiring.
Yes.
Yeah, it just sits you back. And I will say this, if I can find the sunshine in it, it has truly made me grateful for small things. One of my very good friends, again, the humor, but dead seriousness, one of my very good friends sent me a bidet in the mail. And I was like, no, I don't need, that's gross. That Jason installs it. All of us will only use that bathroom now. The whole entire family. So much so that I was directed to buy more bidets for the rest of the toilets in our house. And did I? Yes, I totally did. I was like, that was the best thing ever. And all of the family comes out and they're like, have you used that? You're like, everyone was scared of it at first because we're like, oh, no, that's great. Now we're all like, that's the best.
Yes.
So, small little happy things can come out of bad things. And I'm like, now all of my toilets will have bidets in my house. Not only bidets, but I even bought one that's heated water. So, but it's little things you learn. So you just got to find the happiness in it all.
Well, it's that humor, right? And I think that was such a big key to my whole situation, as I had plenty of goofballs, two of which are on the screen. Before we let you go, I want you to let us know how we can keep up with you and your journey, whether that's TikTok, Instagram, or whatever you want to share with us. We'd love to have it, and then we'll let you go.
I appreciate that. So I'm on Facebook because I'm old, and that's what us old people do apparently, but it works. So I'm April Long Howton on Facebook. I will say this, and this is not, I apologize, I can't friend anybody because unfortunately Facebook makes you only have a certain number of friends. And I reached that limit a while ago, but you can still follow. My page is open, so you can always follow me. But please forgive if I don't friend you. I have many people, they're like, friend me. I'm like, I can't because I don't know who to delete. So I just like, follow me. I'm there. I'm also on Instagram, and it's April Long Howton there on Instagram. I post on my stories. They're both kind of connected, so you might see some of the same stuff. But I love stories too, and I love getting stories from ladies that are going through cancer and those that have been through cancer. Some of my best walks with this are ladies who experienced it 20 years ago, and things are way different than what they had to do to what I'm doing now. But I look at them and I'm like, all right, they made it. They're fine. Life is back to because you think, will this whirlwind stop? Because I'm just like, I just need it to stop so I can do an order, or I want to fire up my laser so bad, but I can't even lift the wood right now. So it's like learning the patience of things. But, I look at those women that are years out and I'm like, okay, my time will come, and I'm just in the limbo stage right now. So that's okay. So I'm learning a lot of lessons. Some I want, some of them I don't.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.